So this week for my reading log, I selected the 2013 NCTE Excellence in Poetry Award winner, Joyce Sidman, and I selected her book, Winter Bees and Other Poems of the Cold. So the book was written by Joyce Sidman and it was illustrated by Rick Allen. It was published in 2014. It is a poetry children's book, and it is appropriate for ages 6 to 9 years. So, Winter Bees and Other Poems of the Cold features 12 poems, and each poem focuses on a different animal or plant and what these things do to prepare for the cold of winter. The steps that they take, their interactions with their other animals, the steps they take to survive the winter. So it talks about the tundra swans and how they migrate, and how the snakes, when the cold hits, they start to slow, so they go underground, like all together, to stay warm and to survive the cold. So the book features very beautiful and detailed illustrations. So whatever the poem is about is what the illustration is. So this one is about snakes, so the illustration is of snakes. And I think this is helpful, for some of the younger readers that might not know all the animals. Like the one I thought was interesting was for the skunk cabbage. I had no idea what skunk cabbage was, so the illustration really helps me, to see this, to know what the poem is about. And I also really like that on the top corner of each page, opposite to the page that the poem's on, it features just a little paragraph with more information about, in this case, the skunk cabbage. What it is, more information about what they do in the winter. They all just have these little blurbs of information that really help, make this more than just a poetry book. It really helps to make it a more informational book. And the last page of the book is also a glossary page. So some of the bigger words that kids might not know. So for example, the word lattice, migration, abdomen. These are just some of the words that are featured on here that, most younger kids, ages 6 to 9, probably don't know. So they can use this to refer back to know the definitions, which will also help prepare them for their older grades of having to use their textbooks for information. So I think this is a great book for children. So I said the purpose, not only is it nice to read, nice, well-written poems, I think poems are kind of a treat to read most of the time. They can convey messages, but not in the typical way that we're always seeing them written, like in books. So not only does it do that, but it also, as I mentioned, helps to inform readers about different animals and what they do to survive in the winter. I've personally never read a book that had this type of this type of information in it, so I think it's kind of few and far between. It's not really a common topic to only focus on animals in the winter, and especially the plants, and especially the plants and animals that are discussed in here. Because like I said, I've never heard of skunk cabbage before in my life. The activity I would have the students complete, kind of staying with the theme of this book, animals in winter, preparing for winter, and poetry, is having the kids pick an animal or plant that was either in this book, or if we run out, I want them each to have a different one. So if we run out, letting them pick a different one. they do some research, either continue research off of this book, or if they pick their own, research about what these animals do to prepare for the winter. You know, where do they go? What do they eat? How do they keep warm? Things like that. And then I want them to take whatever animal they picked or plant and make an acrostic poem. So the acrostic poem is like when it goes down with the word that you're using. It's like, I showed this on my written, so if you need a better visual. So if you did the word moose, you would go down with the word moose, and then you go across with sentences or words describing, in this case, what a moose would do in the winter to stay warm. So mixing the two, I think it would be a great activity, and I recommend this book. So check it out.